Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of GNN. Today is May 22nd, 2024, and we have another banner night on our hands here. But before we get into the details of our brand new mobile suit, let's go over some news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We have our main event suit now, and I've seen this before on Reddit and across various channels, but I know some of you guys have been calling this out. Well, it's finally here. The Dom Residence from Thunderbolt has joined GBO2, but it is a 2-star, which we'll get into shortly. We do have a boosted supply drop. Now, what that means for the uninitiated, and we'll check this out right now. Generally, that means it's a half off, and apparently my browser's being dumb. Yes, so it's a half off, and then every other subsequent step after that is additional materials, starting with a 2-star rarity or higher, and then a 2-star rarity and higher, one mobile suit guaranteed, and then the supply drop rate for the suit increases. So they've changed up the banners to where you're not locked necessarily into that 2-star tax rate. Although it does kind of increase your chances, I guess you should say. Don't ask me the math here. I was not hired for that. But the final step is the suit guaranteed. So pretty neat. I don't know if I'll pull for this quite yet or not. It does seem kind of cool because it is based on the Dawaj and the Dom Tropin and everything else in between. But on top of that, we do have a step-up supply drop notice, limited supply drop notice for the Atlas Gundam level 2 and level 3. Wow, that's crazy. I believe this is a 550 suit, if I'm not mistaken. 600. My math is not here, but either way, this is pretty crazy. So even with the nerfs that it has, or it had after its launch, this lovely 4-star general now has a level 2 and level 3 variant available. So let me know what you guys think. I'm probably not gonna jump on that anytime soon. I'm pretty sure it's I think it's a 600, sorry. I'm pretty sure it's up there. Yeah. It's been a while since I've touched that, so, that's why I don't remember, but man, level 3 already. Jesus. On top of that, we do have some changes to the recycle ticket counter exchange with the Shazar Team A Jesta level 1 being added, as well as the Silver Haze Kai. We're looking at 450 and I think 650 respectively. Both are raids, both are pretty solid. The Shazar is a little more on the simple side and relies on that mobility and stealth with that lovely sneaky heavy attack, and well, the Silver Haze has no heavy attack, but man, it is nasty. Changes to the DP exchange counter is as follows. We have the HML Zeta Gundam level 2. I believe this is now a 650 suit. Might be 700, correct me if I'm wrong. That is now available, as well as the GK Gelgu Kai Mobility, the Crab raid. I believe it is a 500 or 550 native. I know it's around there, but that is now available in the DP exchange counter. We do have the situation battle changing to where it's the Gundams in Jungle. Let's go ahead and check that out really quick. It's been a while since I've done that, but it is a 8th MS team themed situation battle. So for the Federation side, we have 2 ground type Gundams. We have a weapon rack Gundam, as well as 2 GM ground types. So it's going to be pretty neat so far. It looks like the Gundam ground type with the 100mm machine gun will have improved specs in this mode, so they are trying to compensate for the lack of changes to the 100mm machine gun, although this may potentially, because of these little situation battles, they may carry over potentially to like the main game, because I know the 100mm machine gun, it's been around since forever, and with all these different changes at low cost and high cost and everything else in between, there's a lot of weapons, maybe more so like the Gundam ground type beam rifle on top of that, that might need some overhauls with all the new additions. Jumping over to the Xeon side, we have the Goo flight type. I believe this is, yeah, this is the H8 flight type, not to be confused with the one from Zeta Gundam and the early versions of the Goo flight type. We also have an Akai, Zaku 1 Commander type, Zaku 2, and the Zaku 2 Heavy Arms. I think this is supposed to represent some of the side episodes in 8th MS team, which include, you know, the Goo flight type fighting the EZ-8. Surprisingly, there's no EZ-8 on this yet. But we do have a run-in with the Akai and some of those Zaku units that are in another side episode as a squad. So it'll be pretty interesting. And then the Goo flight type will have improved specs in this mode as well, which I'm not sure exactly what they'll change. Maybe it might be HP, might be some other numbers as well, which we don't necessarily get to see. We just get the feel. So let me know what you guys think about the situation battle for this time around, because if you don't have it, they are giving away a level 1 weapons rack if you do complete the first step during this week. And then this following week, they do have the Goo flight type level 1 coming in. So that could be some quick and easy tuning there. On top of that, we do have the clan matches up. Schedule-wise, all of these, I believe, are still for the 350 cost Karen's Gundam ground type with the GM head. This is a 350 raid. Now, from 200 on, since we've already had previous clan matches, all of these are top 100 placements. So if you're part of a clan trying to get into that, you only need to place within the top 100 to get this suit. So pretty cool. I'm more than likely will be partaking in this, just because I am kind of curious to see how the raid version of the ground type is gonna behave compared to everything else at that cost. Although 350 has some pretty nasty stuff as well, new additions. I'm trying to think as far as like general types. So we'll see. We'll see what they have. It might be one of the few suits that yeah, does carry a beam rifle as a sub. I remember seeing that from one of the other clans. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, as we've tangented off a little bit, let's go into our main event here with the Dom Residence. This is a 400 cost 2-star raid. This particular Dom variant was modified on the battlefront by a guerrilla unit made of Xeon remnants after Operation Odessa ended during the 1-year war. It does carry some common weapons found on Xeonic-based suits, such as the bazookas and machine guns. However, the lower body, as we can see in the illustration, has been converted into a full-on hover unit, almost like a mini rhinoceros if you're very familiar with the Gundam side stories Rise for the Ashes from the Dreamcast and PlayStation 3 games. And this is a ground type only unit. It would be kind of hilarious and funny to see this thing trying to fly around in space and getting pwned, but still hilarious to see. Now, of course, there are some particular properties that this suit has due to the special shape. This unit does behave differently from others when it successfully counters a melee attack. Successfully countering it, no counter animation occurs, and the counter enemy goes down in place. So it's just an automatic knockdown. Countered by the enemy, no counter animation occurs, and this unit goes down in place. So no animation is just too large to do anything super crazy, so it's just instantly knocked down. So I could see it clipping through the ground and everything just for hilarious and, you know, breaking immersion, but yeah, I believe it. On top of that, if you are doing 10 pulls for this lovely suit, and say you've exhausted your means of doing multiple steps, you do get a chance to get the Xeon remnants from the, they say South Seas Alliance, but, you know, we all know this is the Xeon remnants during the Bandit Flower segment of that whole ordeal. All those guys, they're wearing this type of uniform, which is a modified normal suit version of the classic Xeon suit. So, pretty cool, to say the least. So, without further ado, let's get into the nitty-gritty with the suit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with our main event suit, the Dom Residence from Thunderbolt. Jumping into the thick of things, let's look over the stats. Comes with a whopping 19k HP pool. Pretty decent, if I say so. 20s in the ballistic and melee resistance, but has a whopping 14 for beam resistance there. Going into the offensive side of things, it does seem to be a little more conservative range strength-wise. You can't really do anything in that regard with the 15 there, and we'll get into that in a second, and a melee strength of 25. Going into the movement category, this thing just skates around like a roller derby with a 145 walking speed, or technically hovering speed, and high speed movement at 200 with a, I would say, decent amount of thruster gauge for a one-year warsuit being at 60 with a turning speed of 54. As I was going into that, jumping into the offensive power, this thing has no long-range part slots at all, so good luck trying to do anything with that. But 14s in both close and medium. This may change once we get into complex expansion slot, which opens up the suit a little bit more, but we'll see. This is a melee suit. Jumping into the primary range option, it is got its own unique bazooka based off of kind of the big giant heavy bazooka, although this is a specific take on it, I guess. 1900 power, 5 shots, 300 meters effective range, 6.5 seconds cooldown time with a 15-second reload time. Nothing super crazy. It's basically shoot, point, shoot, stagger. I don't know if they changed the blast radius on this at all or the projectile speed, but it is something to kind of watch out for as you're playing around with this. It does have its own unique heat saber, 2000 base power, 2.5 second swings. As far as cooldown time, this has I think priority 3 there, so not surprising. It has its unique spread beam, 12-second overheat time, instant overheat, so great stun. It does have a Sturmfaust, 2000 power, 1 shot, 225 effective meters with a 15-second reload time. I don't know what the ready up time on this is, or if there's anything like that, but just kind of be aware because it also comes with an MP80 with the grenade launcher, so that's already kind of crazy already. So if anybody knows, this is pretty potent. This one comes at a base power of 180, 35 rounds in the mag, 200 meters effective range, and an 8-second reload time with a whopping grenade launcher that hits at 1,000, 250 meters effective range, 15-second reload time for that shot, and it comes with a spike shield with 3k on top of that. Going into the shopping list of skills, we got some really nutty stuff. So has assault booster at level 1, which it reduces the jumping charge time and boosts the jump speed itself. It also reduces reaction when hit by range attack while you're in mid jump or falling. So this is going to be pretty interesting to say the least, considering that this thing has MA3. So usually suits at 400, I think, are commonly for raids running MA1, MA2. This is one of the few because of the large size where you're running MA3. So while boosting, it diminishes, reactions, but it also reduces damage taken by 15%. So yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. It's still kind of early because of the size and the wonkiness that comes along with it. This does have 3 swings, so it's going to be pretty interesting because I think this is using the same DOM Heat Saber animation, although because of the added, I'm assuming, coasting with usually a lot of the hover units and even the stock DOM configuration, this might be kind of the same situation as well. Also comes with shield break mastery, so no issues with losing its shields. I think it has shields on both, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me see if I can... Nope, it's not that button there. No. I think I've seen illustrations where it has shields on either end. It does not have shields on either end, so that kind of sucks, but it's kind of cool because usually if they had shields on both ends, it'd be like a buffer. You do have a emergency evasion, so I'm assuming it's going to twist around like a regular DOM as well. It'd be kind of weird to see it cartwheel over this big, huge thing. That would be hilarious. I would, yeah, I would be like laughing my ass off. Anyways, it does have optimized cooling efficiency, so a lot of thruster movement usage. This is definitely a plus. Anti-blast stabilizer, which is crazy. This also comes with enhanced tackle, so that's gonna be nutty too. Considering that you do have shield tackle with increased damage on top of enhanced tackle, so this is gonna be one of the suits that wants to get in there. We do have special waist cushioning. It's kind of debatable if this is counting as the leg buffers, because when you look at the suit, the waist is there, but like we don't know if that counts for the feet, for the hover unit feats that are on there. But if anybody happens to find out, definitely let me know in the comments, because it is a legitimate question, which I think it might be, but at the same time, like I could see it not being that too. But if it does, you know, that 30% damage reduction certainly will help that out, because if I try to do anything leg-wise, the most I could do is leg twos, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but all the other subsequent Dom variants always had like leg buffers, so this might be their answer for that. It also has aux power just like the Jurek, so at 1,000 or more HP, if an attack would pretty much zero you out, you get a temporary damage reduction, and then you pretty much survive the hit. So it's kind of almost like a, not really like a pseudo biosensor, but it does kind of work that way to kind of get that one last ditch hit before you go down. And then it comes with a nice high-speed mobile shooting mode, where it's kind of like the Sonanju. You enable it and it allows you to fire while doing high-speed movement, but I don't know what the time limit is. I would imagine it's probably a similar amount of time. We'll say vaguely 30 seconds to 45 seconds, might be even less than that. Hard to say, but it is pretty cool with the amount of speed that this is able to do when paired to some of the other skills that it has, and the fact that it has MA3, which is pretty dumb to say the least. Kind of curious to see how fighting against this will be, since even at 400 you got a lot of suits that have wire stuns, you know, the Goof VD, Aqua Gundam. You also have the Aqua GM, you have the Metal Spider on this cost as well. Even though it's a lot more fragile than what the suit is, it's still able to sort of counter that MA3, even though it's not able to sort of break that MA3. It's definitely going to take the whole team to do that. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, folks, that said, that concludes our coverage of tonight's banner suit, the Dom Residence from Gundam Thunderbolt. It is a pretty wacky 400 cost 2-star raid, which honestly, if they made a kit out of this, I would definitely consider getting it just for the hell of it. And it would be kind of neat to see some of these also be included in Gundam Breaker 4, but I want to know what your guys' take on this suit. It's definitely goofy as hell, but at the same time, like, there's no denying that the shopping list of skills and melee potential that this thing has, it can be definitely a problem in the right hands. But at the same time, because of the way it's designed, it's definitely one huge target that you can't really miss. So I want to know if you guys are pulling for this, if it's going to be a contender or not, and if it's even something that you probably even bring into clan matches, because it is fast, but as I mentioned, because of the fastness and bulkiness, it's also a big target. So I can see them, you know, potentially being crazy with this or not. I don't know. Either way, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. But until then, that's it for now. That concludes the video, and I will see you guys all on the next one. Take care.